Alright, so this is episode 7 of Shadow's House Season 2. A little bit of a recap. We had a nice talk between Sean and Emilico, and Sean was getting very big brain over all these theories that he was giving out to Emilico. But we discovered during this talk that their names, especially specifically the name for the Shadow Masters, are most likely their original name. But since we know that the shadows will eventually take over the living dolls, the humans, then, what's the point of giving the original name to the living dolls since they're probably going to be gone afterwards? We also learn, or at least Emilico and Sean learned, that the veiled dolls are actually the living dolls whose shadow master has failed the debut, and so because of that they don't really have a master to serve, so they're veiled dolls and they dress in funeral garbs and all that. After that, we saw the Starbearer continuing their little schemes since they're still trying to keep everything under wraps. And Kate has deduced that since the coffee was broken and they can't report that, they decided to give a just a regular coffee and somebody else in that room. Potentially, it could be Benjamin, who was using his suit power to manipulate or give a little endorphin boost or some to to the kids. And since the kids, who are, I don't know why I keep switching between kids, humans, and living dolls, but they all mean the same thing in my mind. Anyways, since the kids who were already brainwashed, if you just give them the suit power, if Benjamin was giving him this little suit power that makes them feel elated, then it kind of just enhances the brainwashing anyways. So it helps lengthen it as they try to, I don't know, make more coffee or try to figure out this whole thing, so then they can ask for more coffee. The Starbearer, I mean. So towards the end, John and Sean set off towards their own investigation, and they met up with one of the research team, Jeremiah and Jeremy, who ended up giving them quite the amount of information about the shadows, the scorches and the phantoms, and they figured that from their experiment, no matter how many times they've combined the scorches, it never turns into phantoms. So there's the theory that it has to be from a shadow suit power that causes the scorches to turn into phantoms. And so we sort of have an idea on that with the Master Robe around. But yeah, we also saw Master Robe in this episode, in the previous episode as well. So somebody also said that that was like an anime only sort of scene. So that's interesting. Anyways, I had an idea that Master Robe was probably doing something to the Scorches, but since we learned that you most likely have to use your suit power in order to make phantoms, and if they could make a phantom of that size, it would assume that they might have a lot of suit power in order to do it. Or I don't know, we just have to find out how much suit power you need in order to create a phantom. And from the thumbnail of this episode, I see Lou and Louise, so I know that at the very least I will get a nice little treat in episode 7. But I do have my full-length reaction up on Patreon, which you guys can check out in the description down below. Other than that, let us get started. Damn. Oh, shit! Of course. Of course. Damn, dude. She just straight up says it. Yeah. Oh, she's using her full power. James, suppose he has no choice. Damn, dude. Louise is using Lou at her max capacity. Oh my god, all these faces of Lou. Oh, there's too many. When I said we were gonna get a treat, I didn't realize we're gonna get a whole fucking meal. Jesus. Oh, meanwhile, Lou is just tired, dude. Mary Rose might know. Oh man, Lou, you're working Lou to the bone, Louise. Come on. No, just her internal organs. Don't worry. Oh, Mary Rose. Unexpectedly. Yeah, Mary Rose hasn't gotten the invitation. Or has she? But who? Oh. Yeah, so it's... That's what being a child means. You don't know shit. Hold on, John's busy right now. They're busy with John right now. Mary Rose would know, huh? Come on, Louise. Lou is fucking tired. I mean, Lou's not gonna fucking tell you it. Oh, there's Ben. So, like, do shadows have muscle? I guess they do if he's working out. Damn, you see those? Oh. Yes. You and John both. What? Of course, one of Oliver's invention. Mmm. Don't fret over trivial matters. Oh my god, look at how fucking big he is compared to Louise. I just want the invitation. I don't want to become a star bearer. Oh, even he's a telling. Uh-oh. No, it's not her makeup. I'm glad. Yeah, put Lou in the weights. Oh, man. Poor Lou. She's already fucking tired, and now she's gotta... It's not a proper push-up, but... No, you have to do it. Yeah, why do you think Benjamin's working out with his face? Oh. Oh. You haven't even done one! Ooh, for the efforts of her body. Ooh. She's a living doll. God, people's words are just bouncing right off of her head. I mean, information that you wanted, but again, everything else is just... Oh. You're not a little tired. You are incredibly tired. Oh. 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 Alright, Patrick. Of course. Yeah, they're peers. Ooh. You're gonna visit Mary Rose too? Ah. Holy shit, then Ricky's just looking down on them. Oh my god. Gilbert? What? That son of a bitch! He debuted with Sarah and he's gonna do that shit! So he got scolded. So what did they scold you about? Is it about your relationship? Oh, the poor lad. Oh, because he's connected to Kate. He's closest to Kate. Ooh, yeah, Patrick, what are you thinking about? Ranking of recommended girls? Who's Evelyn? Oh, she's part of the first aid team. Okay. Why are you looking up marriage now? Oh, it's Sarah. Ooh. This is the same as compliment. Cause because like even though Ricky is over here exuding confidence, like Patrick is not. He's so different from Ricky. I mean, we've learned that, when we first met him and all that. But it's just really nice and also just nice to see the contrast between his interaction with Ricky compared to Louise with Lou. Stop thinking of yourself and your living doll as separate. Yeah. Oh shit! Grow up. It's like an old man going into a flower garden. Margaret? Oh, the twins? Worried? Ah. Oh my god. Damn, dude. You gotta change the topic like that? Okay. Memento. Oh. Is this girl trying to court Patrick? Must be what? Mode deeply? Mode marriage seems to be mode deeply embedded in the house's power struggle. Mode deeply. Yeah, with mine, I gave some thought. Mistress came last. You want me to get married? Oh, Louise. Speak of her and she appears. Whoa, is this just your... Whoa, Ricky, is this just your way to fucking steer yourself to Lou? I see how it is. Which doesn't spring. Look, man, man's in love with Emilico. This beautiful sunshine. Oh, Patrick. Got two suitors right in front of you. Mmm. That is true. Oh, and then yeah, I was like she did give him a flower. Oh! Ah! Oh! Oh, Patrick. Oh. Oh, Patrick. I'm gonna shed a tear for this boy. Oh, it's a good thing it just ended because... Holy shit. How dare they hit me like that with Patrick? My beautiful boy! Dude, we got to see Mary Rose. Pretty fucking sick. Alright. I like this episode though. It gave us more of what Louise, Lou, Patrick, and Ricky were doing after the meeting. So that was really nice. We got to see the aftermath of John's meeting with the Starbearers, so you know, obviously they were just using the excuse of him wanting to get married to John as a way to, you know, keep an eye on him. Is there an after credit scene? Alright, shit. Mm-hmm. How can you tell? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is that Gilbert? Is that the twins? Yeah, back at it. What? Nani? The identity of Master Robe? Well, I guess we're at that point, huh? But alright, let's go back to the center. Alright, so that was episode 7 of Shadow's House Season 2. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I think I already said it. I enjoyed this episode. Gives us more screen time of Louise and Lou and Patrick and Ricky, so that is always nice. I mean, consider that we haven't really seen too much of them since the beginning of the season. You know, we've seen them here and there, but it's been a lot more focus, especially in the beginning, with the focus on the Starbearers, and then we go into Kane and Emilico and John and Sean, so it's just nice to be able to get them and see what the hell they were doing. And with Lou and Louise in the beginning. Alright, so in the first half with Lou and Louise, we see that Louise is out here just giving all of these orders to Lou. You know, Lou, please clean twice as quickly today. We've got to get going. So she's pushing a lot of shit while she's just sitting on the fucking couch chilling. While, you know, Louise is just out here doing everything for her. Louise found Kate boring because she was always asking for favors, and so she finds that there's actually something fun with Kate, so she's like, alright, I'm gonna go have fun. So now she's going around asking about... That reminds me, what is she talking about this whole invitation thing? If we're assessed highly, we might receive an invitation. Receive an invitation. Louise found Kate. In because she's always asking for favors, but our gathering was unexpected. I'm not really sure what Louise mean exactly when she says that. Like, I know that if you do well, you could get an invitation to become an adult or come over to the Grand Creator's wing and all that, Lord Grandfather. But I'm just a little confused about what does she mean about her just going around finding information on suit power will help her get an invitation, because she asked like 2 other people about the invitation. You know, she went to Mary Rose and then she went to Benjamin. But while she's going about searching up about suit power and, you know, getting all these information, she's using Lou at her maximum power, you know, just getting the Lou's cuteness and beauty all over the place to get people to answer her question, even though they probably shouldn't, because actually no, they say that if they shouldn't be talking about the suit power with someone who doesn't have suit power or hasn't discovered that they have suit power yet. I believe that's the case, but I'm not really sure about the case of discussing it with other people. But it seems like, you know, the guy in the beginning was against the whole idea of talking about it, especially if they're strangers and all that, and then we do know about the whole power struggle that is happening in the Shadow's house at the current moment. Anyways, just a little random tidbit that I was following on, but after we had all of this, Lou is the one who's end up writing everything for Louise because, of course, you know, Louise is getting Lou to do everything. Sort of like with John and Sean. You know, Sean is probably the one towards the end of the last episode where John is just like, oh, this is great information for Kate. I'll just have Sean summarize everything. So, fucking fantastic, you know? They're supposed to be the Shadow Masters and all, but they're relying, at least with Lou. Actually, yeah, they're relying a little bit too much on their living dolls. But we see Lou with her dark eyes, you know, she's been working all day, she's tired, but we find that Lou, as Sean said, she doesn't have much of a personality, and because of that, well, not because of that, but, you know, she can be docile, especially around Louise, and she's just really here to act as Louise's face, and so because of that, and the way that Louise thinks, you know, the way that Louise thinks that, hey, she's my face, and that's basically it. And she doesn't really think about, because she still doesn't know that Lou is actually a human, she still thinks that Lou is a living doll. So because of that, she hasn't really, in terms of everybody in in their peer group, she hasn't really, I was gonna say mature, but she hasn't really come to that realization yet. You know, like we've got Kate and John who now knows that they're living dolls are actually humans, and the living dolls themselves, Emilico and Sean, knows that they're human. But we have our stragglers, Louise and Lou and Patrick and Ricky, and we know that Louise is at the bottom at the current moment in terms of realizing it, because at least with Patrick, he knows that there is a difference between living dolls and shadows, and that they're not the same people. Which actually kind of, I'm a little everywhere at this point, but it kind of makes me think about when Louise finally goes to a star bearer. You know, well, she went to talk to Mary Rose first, and so it was nice to see Mary Rose, of course. You know, and this was just Louise talking about the invitation, and she was talking about what happens when you get an invitation. I don't know why she's specifically asking. I feel like people in the children's wing wouldn't know, but might as well get information somehow. But you know, once you get the invitation and you get going and moved over to the Lord Grandfather's wing, you can never come back to the children's wing, which is why Edward got in trouble in season 1, because he illegally entered the children's wing when he shouldn't be. That's right. When faceless shadows successfully debut, they become children with faces who have come of age. And then they receive an invitation, and then when they receive an invitation, they become adults. Okay. What is it that you wish thought? Only you would know, and it's something you're informed of unexpectedly the day before. So I would assume someone has been like that before, but Rosemary's never gotten an invitation. Not that we know of. What does one do after being invited? Like a test, like the debut, Mary Rose does not know either, and the particular of the debut change according to the examiner's tastes. Who's the last person to receive an invitation? You wouldn't be acquainted with them, Louise. The shadows who have gone to Lord Grandfather's wing must not be spoken of. It's the rule. And those who have become adults never return here. Yeah, so the kids wouldn't know. They stay lost. Okay. So it's just talk about the invitation, and then Mary Rose gets Louise to head on over to ask the Starbearers, and that's when Louise... Well, actually, Mary Rose also said, you know, faces should be treated with great care. And so Louise still doesn't understand that. Like, what is Mary Rose talking about? The fuck she going on about? My face is great! So we learned that as long as you don't mention Christopher, Benjamin is a pretty chill guy. You know, had a nice conversation with Louise, albeit I feel like Louise, with her aloofness, could have a conversation or a one-way conversation with everybody. But it was nice, again, for Benjamin to talk about how maybe you shouldn't leave everything up to the living doll. Maybe you should probably do the same thing that they do. You know, just instead of getting your living doll to do everything, which is what Benjamin does. You know, he works out with his with his living doll. Say, do you train yourself like that in order to intimidate everyone? If one is not strong, one cannot protect anything. So I assume that's like him feeling like he couldn't have protected Christopher. Being a star bearer seems a lot like a bother. Okay. And so she's like, I don't want to be a star bearer anymore. So possessing the desire to improve oneself is good, but your face appears pale. And so, yeah, the makeup will not work. Training is good for the body. It improves the metabolism. Okay, so, you know, again, with the whole conversation with Benjamin telling her that, yo, dog, your living doll is not like an extension of you. You know? So it was just nice because, like, Louise was like, yeah, you're right. You know, training sounds good. We should do it. And then it was just Lou doing it. So it was just nice that Benjamin was trying to get her to, I mean, in his own way, trying to get her to realize that, again, her face is not just just her, like, extension. You know, it's, you know, just because Lou grabbed something doesn't mean that you also have grabbed it. But despite most of the information bouncing right off of Louise's head, she does, in the end, realize that, yeah, Lou is fucking tired of all this goddamn work. After talking to Patrick, though, she goes and says thank you to him. And then he's over like, thank you, huh? I guess we'll find more about Benjamin when we see him. Anyways, the final scene with them is very nice, just for Louise to be like, are you tired? And then Lou finally admitting that, yeah, I'm a little bit tired. And you know, Louise is like, well, you've been lying this whole time? Like, how am I supposed to know what you think if you don't tell me it? Which is understandable. You know, it feels like Lou knows what Louise is thinking, but Louise, again, doesn't really know what Lou is thinking. So it was just a nice way for them to, hopefully, for Lou, anyways, to be able to open up and actually communicate with Louise. But it was nice to see that when Louise actually does give, you know, the usual care, but like even more care, not just about her face, but actually about Louise's well-being as well. We get to see a nice, you know, a nice little smile. Oh, so fucking cute from Lou. Just a nice little smile that perhaps is a genuine smile from Lou instead of just her imitating Louise. So very nice, you know, towards the end of that. Very nice. Goddamn, dude, my fucking rambling is god-awful this episode. But we switch over to Patrick afterwards, right? And here is Patrick, who just has no idea what the fuck he's doing because he's just riddled with anxiety. Understandable, Patrick. But he goes and he asks Ricky, you know, and he always feels like Ricky knows the answer more than him. And that's something that we learn during the debut, that despite Patrick not really having that strong of a suit power and all that, his living doll is quite outstanding. So because of that, Patrick tends to rely on Ricky a lot in terms of figuring out what he should be fucking doing next. So from Patrick's side, they started learning about relationships with other shadows, like whose other peers are, and then we've met these two guys who gave them a few more information about other people's peers, and they made a note that Barbara and Mary Rose were peers. They both debuted at the same time, and that they are the They are the oldest people in the children's wing, and these two lads are over here like seeing Mary Rose still here and not have an invitation makes them feel better because there's somebody older than them who has not gotten the invitation yet. So they're just like, yeah, we're feeling pretty good knowing that somebody else is probably in a worse situation than us. And then we have that scene of Ricky who just looks down on them. He's just like, these fools will never become adults. So the others who have been here the longest was Susanna and Gilbert, and then the people in the research team. And then we also found out that fucking Douglas and Sarah debuted at the same time, which is a holy fucking shit, dude. I just really know how to rub salt in the wound. And then during the whole talk, we see John and Sean coming out from their being scolded by the Starbearers. I believe I already talked a little bit about that. You know, they want to keep their eyes on John and all that. But this also brings the topic of marriage and how if they're children, they have to get a petition of marriage, and you can't marry until you're an adult. But then you learn that you have to pick out who is what is it? You have to pick out the person who's not going to fucking disintegrate someday. Because that's gonna be bad news for you, I would assume. In terms of like frickin' Ricky talking to Patrick like he's his fucking counselor or something. And you know, and Patrick is like the king who's trying to look at who to marry. That's what I feel like. But just knowing that, like, you know, they need to pick a high candidate that is suitable for them and not going to disappear on them. It's even then, you know, just having this whole marriage thing, it's another constant power struggle in the Shadows house. I genuinely do not know if anything I've said in this whole entire episode is making any fucking sense. Anyways, I got a bit ahead of myself because Patrick learns about the whole marriage thing and he wanted to learn a little bit more about it, and that's when he meets up with Sarah, who just told you about what I was saying, I believe. Oh, she was discussing about, you know, one cannot marry unless one is an adult, you need to have a petition as a child. The most important element of the system is the determination to become an adult no matter what. There are some who are being dealt with before ever becoming adults. If after the petition for marriage, if one of the parents ends up being dealt with, they become the subject of derision. I actually don't know what derision is. I feel like it's kind of like bullying, ridicule, or mockery. Alright, so that's... Okay, yeah, so Sarah was the one who was saying what I was just saying before I got ahead of myself. But it was nice to see, it was nice to see when Sarah complimented Ricky's face, Patrick was over here like, so when you said that, you mean that you like Ricky, right? My living doll? And so Sarah's just over here like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, when I mention your face, I'm talking about you. So Sarah and Mia are very similar to Louise and Lou, which we sort of figured back in like episode 1 when Kate was over here like, oh man, I wanted to talk with Louise, but she's just over here talking with Sarah instead, you know? They seem to like they're getting along. So yeah, stop thinking of yourself and your living doll as separate, which spirals Patrick into this fucking thought. Also, Patrick did ask, do living dolls not experience romantic love? And Ricky's just over here like, oh god. After I head bumped freaking Loon, I remembered just a tiny bit about my crush on her. Oh god. Man, sweating over here. And so, oh yeah, and before he actually went on that whole fucking monologue, he went to look at flowers, which Ricky was like, lately you've grown fond of flowers, haven't you? Which is just so fucking cute. I love Patrick, alright? I love Patrick and I love Louise. I love these two, and just consider the fact that we've got a whole entire episode just based on them. Fantastic. Anyways, yeah, just him saying, you know, you've grown fond of flowers as of late. And just knowing that, you know, it was Emilico who put that flower in his box and reassured him that, you know, Ricky will come for him. It was a nice, tender moment that I really liked during the debut. But again, this is just me really liking Patrick and Louise way too much. Sorry, Lou. I like Lou, alright? Look. Never mind. I was gonna go on a fucking rant, let's not. So we got another name, other than the name of William and Randall, who I've decided not to write down for some reason, but I wrote down Margaret. Oh my god, dude. Margaret's just over here trying to fucking court Patrick, I swear to Christ. And Patrick's just over here like, I don't fucking know what's going on. But we did see Margaret, who says, you know, she wished that the twins, since the twins are the leaders, she wished that the twins would disappear or die or be dealt with, you know, because those twins' hearts are twisted and ugly, which I kind of get from what we've seen from them before, and, you know, their treatment of rum, or at least, yeah, of rum, with the twins. So we have seen that, but at the same time, the what is it? The punishment that they're getting, you know, that's even though they were being, I guess, little bitches, they don't deserve what was coming to them when they end up breaking the coffee, because again, perhaps they didn't realize that they were doing that, because it seems like from their expression when they broke the coffee, they were just like, what the fuck just happened? So, you know, like, despite them getting this punishment, it's just really sad to see them getting this punishment, because again, I know that they probably didn't break the coffee on purpose, the twins anyways, and just knowing that these two girls are just being sent into the fucking pipe every fucking day, and they're probably getting soot sickness every fucking day, that is just, someone's gonna fucking break, that's for sure. And then, you know, the shadows get dealt with, and it just fucking sucks. Anyways, I guess I already talked about that, so I don't have to talk about the fucking final scene of this. But anyways, yeah, so she gives him a flower, and goddamn, dude, she makes me so, she is so unnerving, like, that facial expression that she has, so unnerving to me, and especially after she just said that she wished the twins would fucking disappear or die or whatever, like, holy shit, dude. Anyways, she gives him a flower, and he goes back, and yeah, they're talking about how, like, the marriage is, like, deeply embedded in the house's power struggles. And here is Ricky, being the fucking manager of Patrick, telling him who he should be fucking marrying, and in their case, it would do them well to get the person who came in first of their debut, which is, Louise and Lou. But again, I think this is just fucking Ricky trying to undermine Patrick's effort and try to get himself with Lou. But then we had, you know, we had Kate coming in and Emilico coming in, and then just Patrick realizing that he's in love with Emilico, and just remembering that, you know, that tender moment between him and Emilico. And also the time when he realized that living dolls are different from shadows as well. You're the one who split Patrick's heart into two. It's just, it's just too cute. And Patrick's just over here like, even though I'm in love with you, I'm going to keep it a secret. Oh, I feel so sad for this boy. Patrick, why? Just thinking about it gets me all teary again. Patrick, why? Why you gotta do this to me, my boy? Sad times, dog. Sad times. Forgot I had a napkin here. This poor boy. I just want Patrick to be happy. I want Ricky to get that stick out of his ass. And get himself with Lou, goddammit. Let's fucking go, my guy. I'm waiting for these romance to bloom. Even though the romance is not like that, it's not the main thing, but I fucking love all this fucking low romance plot that is happening. I just... Alright, I'm gonna go gush about it somewhere else and not on camera, but this, like I said, this was a fucking great episode. I love these two, and getting them more screen time is always fantastic, and I assume we're going to continue on this whole matter of well, actually no, literally the next title, the title episode is The Identity of Master Robe. Oh my god, there's a dinosaur outside. Yeah, so I assume we're perhaps going to get closer to the review of Master Robe, or at the very least figure out something that will hopefully get the twins from fucking being pushed into the pipes all the time. And hopefully Rosemary will be recovered. How long has she been in that fucking hospital? First aid room, whatever, wherever she is, the treatment room. Anyways, if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys when I see you guys.